WOR. John, go ahead, please.
Mr. Savage, I enjoy your show very much. However, I disagree with you on the immigration issue. First of all, our whole economy in America is based on using labor from South America.
All right, let's pause right here. That is true, but that's not the only answer. Let me explain what I've written about in 4 best-selling books. That is true because we have a lazy welfare class in America and a prison population that could easily be utilized to pick the vegetables and do the menial work, for example. And let me explain that in more detail. You live in New York City. How many able-bodied bums do you drive past every day sitting in doorways drinking beer?
Are you talking about Americans or illegal immigrants?
I don't know. What are you talking about? So you see both Americans and illegals sitting in doorways.
I don't see neither one. I'm sorry to tell you,
so everybody's working in New York City. Everybody has a job. So who's on welfare in New York City?
Well, I would say probably few of the, areas like Bronx, Harlem.
Oh, look, John, I'm a former social worker. I worked in the welfare department of New York City way, way back in the mid-'60s. I saw welfare fraud then. I saw bums on welfare who were able-bodied, who were holding down jobs, who were double-dipping and collecting welfare. But let me be very specific. Who is it in America, do you think, who used to pick, for example, the fruit in the fields of California, in the fruit orchards? It was poor white people. If you read John Steinbeck's Grapes of Wrath, you will know that it was white people who lost their farms as a result of the Dust Bowl, so to speak, that swept through Oklahoma. They didn't go to the government. The government didn't have the money to bail them out. So they packed up their trucks, they went out to the West Coast, and they picked fruit. That's how they made a living. You think anybody wanted fruit? No, but they had to because the government wasn't there to pay them off to sit on their behinds. We have millions of people in America who could work doing the menial jobs that are being done by Mexicans right now. That's my point.
But the point is that those people you are saying, they're not capable of doing the jobs that the immigrants do in America.
Well, no, they wouldn't. Well, there's 2 things. You say they're not capable? You mean they don't want to do the work because they've gotten fat and lazy sitting home waiting for the welfare check. That's what you mean. They can be taught to work again. Now, let's take the next population of potential labor. We have over 1 million people in incarceration. Many of them belong in incarceration. But many of them have committed minor offenses, particularly in the area of drug usage, not drug selling. If they were given the opportunity of taking the last 6 months of their sentence in a field instead of in a prison with a reduction of their sentence, I think many of them would prefer working in a field as farmhands rather than being in a prison.
Mr. Savage, those people who are illegals who work in America, they're skilled. They're good at what they do.
Well, now you're changing the argument. You just changed the argument because typically as a liberal, once you lost the argument, you already shifted it. Now you're talking about those coming in under B-1B visas, right? For more technical skills, right?
I'm talking about illegal immigrants from South America. They're better painters than most Americans. They're better at cleaning. They're better at making food.
Yes, they are better because they're more desperate. So we need to make our underclass more desperate, not more comfortable. Don't you understand what I'm saying to you? The welfare state is over. We can't afford it. The currency has become worth about 30-40% less than it was when Bush took office. We're in a whole new world here, John. We're no longer the rich, fat America who can afford to give out money and give out welfare. We have to retrain the entire country and the entire population to the New World Order. And that means making the bums on welfare more uncomfortable. That means releasing people from prison earlier if they'll work the fields. That means deporting the illegal aliens, John. Don't tell me that people can't work. Tell me they won't work. And don't tell me they can't learn to work. They will learn to work if that's the way they're going to put bread on the table. Thanks for the call.
Savage.